Hi everyone, this video will be on home management. First, I'll be going over the topic of cooking. First, we'll start how to enhance your cooking and your recipes. You'll want to use fresh ingredients whenever possible and always wash veggies beforehand. Second, organize your tools and ingredients before cooking. Third, include contrasting textures in your meals. Fourth, season your foods with salt and pepper. Fifth, use butter in your cooking. Sixth, experiment with some sauces. Seventh, experiment with herbs. Eighth, give spices a try in your recipes. And next, I'm going to be talking about essential cooking techniques. These are techniques such as boiling, steaming, braising, sauteing, pan frying, shallow frying, deep frying, stir frying, roasting, broiling, grilling, and baking. Finally, I'll be talking about how to master go-to recipes. First off, let's learn how to make eggs. Place a saute pan over medium heat and melt 2 teaspoons of butter in it. Whisk 2 eggs and 1 tablespoon of milk together in a bowl and add the mixture to the pan and stir it with a wooden spoon or rubber spatula until it sets and separates into pieces. Now keep in mind these are scrambled eggs. Now if you want sunny side up egg, just crack the egg and put it into the pan on top of the butter. Next, check to see if the pan is hot enough by putting a few drops of water on it. It should sizzle. Then, put a lid on the pan and let it cook for about 2 to 2.5 minutes. Make sure to check it with the water again to see if it sizzles and it creates steam so it can cook, and it should be done when the whites are completely set and the yolk is still runny. Now, I'll be going over the topic of laundry. Note, in the video, I will have a full load of laundry of just everyday clothes. Also note that every washer and dryer is different. Depending on how big your load is how much laundry detergent you want to add. The bigger the load, the more laundry soap. There should be measurements in the cup for liquid detergent as well. For this load, the soil level is regular. You mainly want to wash in cold water. The only time you could wash in warm water is when you're washing towels and washcloths. For this knob, set it to whatever your load is. For this load, it's normal. Now we only need 1 rinse for this load because we don't need any more, and then you can start. For drying, put in a fabric sheet. Again, adjust the settings based on your load. Take the laundry out of the washer immediately to prevent musty smells forming. Before drying, check your items' care labels because some fabric types can't be tumble dried, so you'll want to air dry those. Now, we need to understand how to pre-treat stains. To treat coffee, tea, berry, or sweat stains, pour detergent directly onto the stain to gently rub the fabric together or use a soft bristled toothbrush to help break the detergent into the fibers, then leave it on for a few minutes. To treat blood, dirt, or motor oil stains, prepare a soaking solution with detergent. Let these garments soak for about 30 minutes before washing. For butter, margarine, or grease stains, rub dish detergent onto the stain to loosen it before pre-treating. For chewing gum stains, soak the item in hot vinegar for 1 to 3 minutes, but always test for color fastness first, and then you can continue to pre-treat. Next, I'll be going over housing. To start off, you may just want to rent an apartment. When looking for an apartment, price is the first thing to consider, but price and location go hand in hand. Note that only adults are allowed to sign rental contracts. Since most states set the age of adulthood at 18, this means that you can't rent until you're an adult. As far as if you can afford an apartment, most apartment complexes require you to make 3 to 5 times the cost of rent to even be considered for approval. This is because they know that your other living expenses will cost that much. You won't be able to afford to pay rent if you don't meet the minimum income requirement. There are also some things to consider when you're looking for which apartment you can afford. If there is no elevator, the apartments on the upper floors will be cheaper because most people don't want to haul groceries up a flight of stairs. Additionally, an apartment close to stores and other conveniences will be considerably more expensive than one a little further away from the main street. In general, a landlord will charge more if you smoke or have pets, since there will be more cleanup involved. Smoke or pet-free apartments might cost a little less for this reason. Also consider the cost of safety. I know that really cheap apartments seem like the perfect place for a broke young adult, but having things stolen can be really expensive, and the cost of replacing stolen items should be considered. If a low-budget apartment is all you can really afford, I suggest you either find a roommate in a better area or practice extra safety measures for yourself and your car. It would also be helpful to invest in a deadbolt. Consider the question of where you should start looking for an apartment. Ask your renting friends to keep their eyes open for vacancies in the building. Another very important thing to note is that your credit score means a lot more than your age. A landlord would likely choose an 18-year-old with a good credit score over a 30-year-old with a not so good credit score. Next, I'll be talking about different types of leases or rental contracts. If you have a roommate, it's very, very important that you make sure that all the tenants' names are on the lease. If not, a roommate could leave you with rent you can't afford by yourself. Just make sure whoever you choose to live with is reliable, trustworthy, and someone you're willing to spend 6 to 12 months with. Also, make sure you set up boundaries and rules for how you're both going to split things up and sell important things. Note, you'll need to talk with them about things like their routine, chores, AC, etc. You also want to ask them questions about your potential new space. 1. Is there laundry on site? Is it free, or will you have to pay to use the machines? If not, is there a laundromat within walking distance? What's the water pressure like? Will there be enough hot water during peak hours? Is the apartment and area around the apartment noisy? Is there a resident manager on site? Is the area safe? What is the parking situation? Is there a lot? Are you assigned to a space? And does parking cost extra? Is it close to transportation? Finally, the hardest part, actually getting the apartment. Some things leasing agents look at are very important, and you need to make sure you have these. First, you need to have your last 3 pay stubs, and you must have held your current job for at least 6 months. Your monthly income must equal 3 to 5 times the amount you'll be paying in rent. You'll probably be asked to supply the names and contact info for both your professional and personal references. These are the people that will vouch that you're a responsible person. They'll also want to know which bank you use and what balances you carry. They might ask to see those bank records. Lastly, credit check. Landlords often charge applicants a fee to run their credit reports. There are also 2 different types of leases you may want to consider. The first is a month-to-month lease. This means that either you or your landlord can change or end the agreement at the end of each month. If no one renegotiates the contract you signed, it automatically renews each month. The second is a fixed-term lease. This means you agree to stay and pay rent for an extended period of time, and if you break this lease, you'll lose all your deposits and the landlord can sue you. There's no guarantee you can stay after the year is up. The cost for an apartment before you even get your hands on the keys is the sum of the administration fee, credit check fee, and the deposit, plus first and last month's rent. You also need to consider things such as emergency fees, groceries, utilities, furniture, electricity, kitchen supplies, etc. So to tie a tie, you just want to take the bigger end, put it over the little end, make sure you have more of the bigger part than the smaller one, and then you want to pull it up through here, pull it behind the little one, and then back over, and then back up through the center, and then tuck it into this little loop that you created. And then to adjust it, you would just take the little one and pull this as you're pulling the little one down. And then there's your tie.